Let's see. I'm going to redo the plasma story. Am I recording? I think so. So this is from a 400,000 volt transformer, 1987. Time frame on the tip, direct current with magnetic field interference by traveling wave tube magnet. So let's go to picture number 2. Picture number 2 is Valley's equation. Valley does predict the depletion of energy in the structure of space in the vicinity of an Earth-sized object. Well, I just thought I'd add this in as part of a write-up that was done. You can probably read that, do a screenshot. Thank you. Next picture. This is a plasma tube, approximately 3 inches in diameter, high voltage direct current. 87, I think, from a video actually. This is plasma formed on the terminal of a 400,000 volt transformer, X-ray transformer from KS Mod Electrical Machinery, 1982. Did I get that in 82? Yeah, because they delivered to 1458 East 29th Street, Lynn Valley, North Vancouver. So this was later on in 87 time frame. I captured this on an old camera. You can see the terminal. A nice little device here. Kind of cool stuff. Anyway, next picture. Alright, next picture, plasma. This is a xenon or argon tube off a warship. They use these to light up huge parabolic reflectors. And I used this in 2007, all the way up from 2002 to 2008. This is filmed by many TV people as well as Dr. Ludwig. This is a close-up of it. Plasma system. Okay, picture number 2, about 2008 time frame. Used in the levitations in the apartment lab. On to the next picture. Plasma unit of a warship. Okay, this is back in 86, 87 time frame with a gigantic system I had. 16 120-pound capacitors with 1,000. Let's see, 25,000 volts each, 60,000 volts, 500 joules each capacitor, 5,000 joules capacitor, and I'll show you diagrams a little later on in the video of the setup. So going into diagrams, you can see the schematics, electrical power control, and you'll see pictures of the various controls I had in the early labs. So let's go on to next picture. Okay, this is a dumbbell Tesla coil. I used it in some of the other stuff I used to do. Levitation, if you want to call it that, as well as metals going funny. This is another Tesla coil of my own design. High capacity, I wanted that, as well as directional control. And it worked extremely well. Okay, this device, the end device of the discharge of the gigantic capacitor system for making plasma. This is a bead lightning cannon, if you want to call it that. If you want to take a screenshot of this, ball lightning projector and generator. Tungsten spark gaps, corona rings surrounding a plastic tube, magnetic field surrounding the whole system, as well as an electrostatic field that accumulates on the corona rings. So that's part of it. And here we have the plasma generator, spark gap. Snapping gap, as Hathaway called it. This is where I did my bead lightning stuff. So you can see the capacitor series parallel, hooked up to 400,000 volt DC transformers. You do need to take a screenshot of that. Okay. This is back to Tesla stuff. Variations in Tesla coils and things. Let's go on to the next slide. As you can see here, I have a xenon tube, 200,000 volts DC. That's a transformer. Above it, take a screenshot. This is my nuclear reactor, as I call it. It's a system. Not really a nuclear reactor. It's something that interested Dr. Wilson of DREP, Defense Establishment Pacifica, in the anti-gravity stuff they were doing at 86 frame. So this is the nuclear section, as I call it, or as George Hathaway called it, the spiral spark gap. I think he called it that. Jacob's ladder system. And the device I built. It's a small, ordinary nuclear uranium ore inside this round ball in the middle, magnetic field, electrostatic field. There was great interest to Dr. Wilson, who thought it was important in their experiments of anti-gravity. Canadian government visitation, Dr. Lorne A. Kuhn, Dr. Wilson, Dr. Loken, George Hathaway, and by orders of Deputy Prime Minister Eric Nielsen, so I'm told. Anyway, this is that part. I'm sort of off topic with plasma stuff, right? Okay, let's go on. You'll see this ball, all these little glass balls. This is another part of the plasma generation system. I'm going to take a screenshot if it's of interest to you. 88, 87, 86 time frame. 85 actually too. Here's some of the double loop antennas, directional loop antennas off of old Navy ships that are used for weak magnetic field production. To guide fields and that kind of thing, electrostatic fields like to be guided around, so that's what I used to do. These are my two static generators. One's very big and one's medium size, Fantagraphs. Built in 1984, wow. You see how big it is. It was like 12 feet or more in height. That's my static sources and going around all the different things to guide the energy and interference and all kinds of cool stuff. A picture of the control panel, black and white old film, 87. This is plasma being generated. Oh, here we have a plasma forming off a 400,000 volt transformer, 1987. Okay. There's a plasma forming off a very sharp point of, I would believe, copper. That's from a black and white video cam screenshot. More plasma from the same transformer. Okay, this is a gas tube lit up with high voltage. It's kind of a projector or ray gun or whatever you want to call it. Had high voltage, static magnetics on it, and high frequency RF. This is my Vandegraaff generator, 9 feet, 10 feet tall, about, roughly. It's a complement to convoy electrical machinery. It's 56 kVA, 89,000 volt transformer from a substation. Power conditioning gear. And part of my high voltage. These are transformers, filament transformers, as well as vacuum tubes. This is what they call a quench spark gap system. This one is a large Tesla coil suspended horizontally. A high voltage inductor. Just random screenshots of the old lab. These are 400,000 volts direct current transformers, X-ray type, used to charge the capacitors. Coming up next. These are the plasma capacitors I mentioned in the beginning. 120 pounds each, 16 of them. Again, the capacitors, plasma capacitors. Kind of a control panel for other RF stuff. This is one of the main control panels, 87 lab. Canby Street building, 560 Canby. And part of the control panel and monitoring gear, 200 amp variac, complements the KS Mod electrical machinery. And this is a close-up, of course, of the 200 ampere variac from KS Mod electrical machinery, Westinghouse device. More of the control panel as well as directional gear for measuring RF, directional, phase shifting, and phase shifters. Phase shifting gear. These are triodes used in my RF generation gear. These are very large roller inductors, silver plated. Part of the control panel as well as directional finding gear, field strength meters and that kind of thing. Vintage big inductor. Oh, this is a reporter that filmed a plasma reaction. Screenshots of the video of First News plasma. Screenshot, plasma reaction. Screenshot of plasma reaction, First News. This is where I also make bead lightning by attaching copper or aluminium to the terminal, tungsten terminals of this gigantic direct current super high voltage gap. Screenshot of plasma. Screenshot of plasma reaction. Discharge with enhancements. Oh, this is a better picture of my control panel and me at it working with a gigantic plasma discharge capacitor bank. Oh, Wesley Baker, knowing him just since the 70s, would attend to my laboratory and watch some of the weird effects. This is him talking about them on Discovery Channel networks. Oh, here's a picture of me with U.S. government folks, Colonel John Alexander, and me by my disruptive discharge transformer. Haha. 83. I think this was about 2005 plasma experiment I did. I got it on video. It's kind of cool. Again, this is the big plasma discharge unit. 500 joules, 25,000 volts. DC capacitor series parallel, as you see in the diagrams in the beginning of this weird video. Okay, well, we're going to do this one here. It's one of the first news stories. Here we go. Oh, this was 1985, I think. Wow. Uh-huh. That's my 19 millimeter anti-aircraft gun traverse mechanism. A metal bar is bending around. That's weird. Didn't notice that before in this video. What else is going on? Ooh, wow, cool. I think we've seen this one, so I'm going to another picture. Now for something totally different for you folks out there in the internet world. This is just recently. Top it off with yours truly, your little hottie. Yeah. Of course, John, show up. My goodness. Of course, Major. There he goes. He's moving now. Communicating ravens. Look how they communicate, guys. Gotta love ravens. I love all animals, by the way. This is a funny video. I like it. So that's my stupid presentation on plasma and some of the effects in that. This is me up in the woods doing exercises. Crazy Canadian and stuck in the USA, or having fun in the USA. Canada for me would be a little too boring. And climbing a tree in the forest in California. Anyway, I don't know if the videos help or not on plasma and other crazy things, but oh well, it's all fun. I use iPad clips to adding videos and pictures and that, so hopefully it's helpful for you if you're trying to do plasma research or anti-gravity.